24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with the finest in broadcasting, aired anywhere around the globe. And now it's time for Groove Swing Speaks. Welcome, everyone. Yes, absolutely. Clayton Brown, how you doing, brother?
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Adjust your
It's a
camera just a
beautiful
little
day.
bit. Okay, we can do it that way. However, and Sister Latoya Yvette, how are you, darling?
Oh,
Hello, hello. Hola, my sister, and greetings, my brothers. I'm good. How are you all? How was everybody's day?
Terrific. It was a beautiful day here in Richmond, Virginia. What would you say, Clayton? 75. It had to get
yeah.
up to about 75 degrees, 77, something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. And that was a
It was
break.
raining here.
Oh boy, I'm sorry, sister. I am so sorry. This is quite a break because the temperature here, it is absolutely crazy because, I came back from California. Migrated back here 2 years ago. And, California is two temperatures there. It's mild or hot in a lot of different cases. No, there's also that in between where it's absolutely beautiful. But anyway, without further ado, we have a special guest on tonight, and that is Tamika Domino. Hey, my sister.
Hello, sister.
Hello, hello,
Hola.
Greetings.
hello. Peace to my brothers. Hola to my sister Latoya. I'm glad to be
Hola.
here.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Hopefully, brother Ahmad. Now, not hopefully. I talked to brother Ahmad earlier, and I hope that he comes on. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know anything about that gentleman, Ahmad McDougal, will let him explain and tell you a little bit more about himself when he comes on this set. And then also, brother Robert Hicks. Brother Robert Hicks, perhaps they are conversing or doing something. I don't see them in the green room, but as soon as they get on, we're going to do that. So let's start with one of our panelists who is also, she started off as my co host, but we've had so many wonderful, wonderful grooves and swings that have come in and they stuck around. Okay. My brother next to me,
Yes.
he came in as a guest one time, and he hasn't left yet. We have Craig.
I'm homeless.
No, you're
I
never
have
homeless,
I
brother.
have to find.
Never.
You never homeless. If I got one, you got one. I know
You know that's right.
if you got one, I've got one. That's all right.
I'm
And
gonna
now,
tell you
not
that.
only what I'm so proud of is not only is he my groove brother, but he's my sibling. I'm
That's
his
right.
oldest brother.
That's my old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so proud. Pull your mic closer to you, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
that
but
is true.
ladies first, though.
I'm stuck with her.
So,
Yep,
hold on. I didn't know you all was like blood brothers.
That's my oldest brother.
absolutely.
I have six brothers, one sister.
Yeah, but see, what happened was he had to follow in Big Brother's footsteps. That's
I
what.
didn't have to do
No,
that.
you didn't have to,
All
but you
right.
did.
Let's change the subject. I'm sure one of the sisters has something. Cut it out. I'm sure one of the sisters have something important to say
Yes,
because
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, because we want to come in and honor our guest Tamika. So I want to start and uh, Latoya, I want you to do the introduction.
I knew you were gonna ask me that when
You
I
know,
left my paper. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I
but
knew it. I knew it.
yeah, you know I was going to do that.
I did. I did. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Wait a minute, because I got to do it, and I got to do it right. Give me 1 second. Can y'all still hear me?
yes, we can.
I can't believe she blanked out her screen.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm about to. I got to. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Okay,
Talk
Sister
for a
Tamika.
second. Just give me a second. Give me 1 second.
But this is wonderful. Now, while she's doing that, there's someone that I have to, and with great pleasure and honor, and that's to recognize someone who's working behind the scenes. Now, I'm gonna tell you. Now, when we put these productions together, of course, you see our faces, and you hear us, with, conversing and things of that nature. Just as important, or more importantly, is who's is working. for or with you behind the scenes. And I have to give a great honor to my sister Rock. I have to do that.
Thank you,
Rock
thank you, thank you.
had
Hola, Rob.
Rock is absolutely amazing. She's an amazing person. We talk, and so we talk about what's coming up, and we also talk about okay, who's the next guest that's coming up, and what we try to do, Sister Tamika, is that we want to also tie our conversations uh, a time and link them into what our guests, what his or her expertise is, okay, their special what they are specialized in, the information, and it could be anything from business to health or education, our children and things of that nature. So Sister Tamika, I'm still waiting for Sister Latoya. uh,
Okay, 1 second. I got you.
yeah, okay, doll baby. Okay, okay, okay. I'm waiting on you, and so that's why I'm delaying this just for a few seconds. Just be patient with us because we also want to talk about some things that you have done with Swing by Swing, okay, and your history there, the connections there. And I'm going to text while Sister Latoya is giving us the intro. I need to text Brother Hicks and also Brother McDougal and tell them, hey, look, they're late to the party here. So, okay. But anyway, uh, Latoya,
Okay, so first of all, this sister has, whew, her resume is long, okay, and beautiful and very. Oh, my introduction. Let me say this. My introduction. I can give an introduction, but however, this beautiful sister can definitely speak for herself. Like your work. Um, so I want you to elaborate after I just tell them a little bit about what you do as far as business wise. Okay, sis? So you can give them your swing hist a little bit if you want to. Um, however, I want to let them know exactly what you do um, every day. How about that? Okay. Okay. So you know what? Let me tell you something. Technology. Okay. So my beautiful sister Tamika, she is a manager of residential services. She oversees 7 residential programs that house individuals with autism. How awesome is that? Like, okay. It takes us pausing for a second. It takes a special individual to deal with um people with challenges. Let me say it that way.
Mhm.
Okay. Even though we all have some, but you all understand what I'm saying. She also do home behavior therapy and early intervention with toddlers slash preschoolers. Honey, it takes a special individual. Once again, my sister to deal with the babies. Thank you. Um, on the autism spectrum. She also educates preschool teachers on how to deal with their students that have behavioral issues. So, none other than Tamika Domingo. Please, my sister, take it over and just expound how you see fit. Okay?
Sure. It's Domino, my last name.
Domino, sorry.
No problem. Um, yes, I've been in the human service field since college. I've always worked with individuals with special needs, specifically individuals on the autism spectrum. Currently, I've been at the agency. It's called Eden Autism. It's based out of Princeton, New Jersey. We have a school. We have residential programs. We have adult day programs.
Oh,
We do
love
early
it.
intervention, and we also do in-home therapy. So we have a lot of services with our agency. Um, but so basically, what I do daily, it's really a lot, actually. But I do entry level training. I also, as Latoya mentioned, I do in home therapy for parents who contract us if they have a child on the spectrum and they're having issues. or the child is having behavioral challenges, we go into the home and offer them strategies and techniques on how to work with their child. I also go to preschools to do early intervention. So I also help um, preschool teachers learn on how to deal with behavioral challenges for children in their classrooms. And it's really early intervention is really important in most things, but especially when dealing with a child on the spectrum. The earlier that you can start working with them, the better. And But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. There's other aspects of my job. It's really a lot, especially when you work. I don't know if anyone has this experience, but working in a human service field, you really become your job can be very multifaceted.
Mhm.
And I really enjoy that part of it. That I don't just do one specific thing all the time. So I'm able to affect a lot of different areas in my agency. So
Uh,
So
sister, go on, please,
I have
Latoya.
a I have a like a two-part question
mhm.
for you starting off. Um, so how did you get into the field? Like what led you to to go in this direction?
Mhm.
One. And then two, I wanted to know because you said the earlier the better to start working with um someone who is on the spectrum. How early like can you diagnose? Like,
Mhm.
is there a certain age? Is it not really a certain age, or how does that work?
So typically, children would be diagnosed it's by the age of 3, as early as 3.
Mm,
There have been some earlier diagnoses, but
yeah.
that's kind of like the general practice. That's the best. And unfortunately, especially women who are on the spectrum typically are diagnosed later in life, later even into adulthood. But typically, young men are they're easily diagnosed, and there's a various reasons for that. But if you can, there's been a lot of advances. So 3 is usually the age, and that is the perfect time to start to work with the young person who's on the spectrum.
Well,
Hmm.
I want to bring into the set our brother Robert Hicks. Robert Hicks, I'm not sure whether you know Sister Tamika Domino or not, but Tamika, correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
You are also with your agency, and it sounds like, I mean, I don't know how you juggle all of this because it sounds like,
I
and
don't know.
after our conversation earlier, you were telling me that you have to go and educate teachers or
hmm
you
Hmm.
teach teachers on how to deal with autistic children,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
that is a heavy thing. So, can you kind of share with Robert? Robert, I'm not sure whether you're familiar. No, you do have her resume. So, Robert, the floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, everyone. And actually, I do know Sister Tamika from a mutual friend
Hmm.
of Swing Fi Swing. So I would definitely say that it is a pleasure seeing you, pleasure seeing you again, and
Hmm.
everyone on the panel. So I would say my question is basically the idea of what's the best way that you are able to organize and being able to meet meet the needs of the students that you come across with every single day? I know that can be definitely challenging, but we'd like to hear what your best tactics, or say for instance, how do you engage with the students so that they make their lives better and easier? Thank you.
So it's definitely individualized. The beginning would be an assessment, and that's definitely the beginning part. And then based on that assessment, they are individuals. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different um, challenges. So the very first step would be an assessment, and then from there, and typically most of the issues is just with preschool teachers and individuals who are not familiar with children on the spectrum, is that they don't understand how they learn and they don't understand how they play. Play is a big part of learning for children. So, children on the spectrum, typically tend to want to play alone, and, they may be hyper focused on something. They may become aggressive or have maladaptive behaviors because they are unable to communicate a want or need. So it's basically just helping the preschool teacher identify these things and help them to incorporate the child at the child's comfort, and how training them how to kind of start to incorporate them into the group play and certain the things that they need to teach them. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But like I said, it definitely is individualized and it's based on each child. But the first step is just I would definitely do an assessment. I would work with the child alone. I would observe the child in the classroom and interacting with other students as much as they do. And then based on that, we come up with a plan and work that plan. And then I would fade myself out. That's the whole goal. I'm there for a period of time, but then the point is for me to fade out of the situation and everyone coexist as best as possible, and the student has their needs met.
Sister Tamika, I can't express how much I respect what you're doing, and I mean the importance of your work, which leads to my questions here. Are and I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. Just like in psychology, there are degrees, or let's talk about mental illness.
Mhm.
Some people have maybe a mild form of a mental illness, and it can go from mild to moderate to extreme.
Mhm.
Okay, are there degrees of autism, and how? And what would you say the? I don't know if you have any stats on this or what.
Mhm.
The amount of children that have been misdiagnosed. And instead of treating that, they may have, or someone may have, or the doctor may have prescribed a medication.
Mhm.
If you could kind of touch on that a little bit.
Mhm. So there are definitely, and that's why. So in this industry, you'll typically see that the terms to identify these types of things like autism will change to fit the current, I guess, the current culture. You always want to be politically correct, for lack of a better term, and you want to also make sure that you're describing it and making sure that it's not stigmatizing. So there's been all kind of terms to describe people, which the most recent term is being on the spectrum, because there are varying degrees of autism and how it affects you, which it is a neurological disorder, but it's more so a social disorder. So in terms of treatment, there's no treatment for autism. There's
Right.
typically treatments for the symptoms, which typically are anxiety or OCD, or unfortunately, there's a lot of gastro issues that individuals with autism suffer from. And I honestly believe it has a lot to do with anxiety. So that turns into a medical condition. So you're typically, treating the symptoms of autism. Autism is more the things that you would do to help people. Even the school of thought has changed on this. If you're wanting to treat, which usually, to put it simply, autism, people on the spectrum have a difficult time communicating because they just think differently or they look at things differently. Empathy looks different for them. A lot of and this all depends on the spectrum, of course, on where they may lie on the spectrum. There are individuals, for instance, you'll see a lot of individuals on Silicon Valley who are IT or who are in those types of industries that are on the spectrum. There was a word Asperger's, which is not common that much used any longer, but those are individuals on the spectrum that have a high IQ and they have a hyper focus on certain things. So you'll see a lot of those individuals in Silicon Valley. They're the ones that work for Apple and for, all the tech companies. So there are, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting, disorder. And there's all kind of varying spectrums. There's all kind of varying, the individuals, just like anyone else, just because they have autism doesn't mean that they're going to do this specific thing, if that makes sense.
So remember that movie, I'm going to toss this over to Clayton also. I'm sure you have some questions. There was a movie that came out a long time ago about the line between genius and what other people would consider as being mentally unstable, or could that be an autistic person?
I mean,
It's really smart.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think that the attributes of a person that are on the spectrum can lend to a genius level of something, because there's such a hyper focus on particular things. So there were individuals that were termed Asperger's or a savant, or if you will, there was a very antiquated term, idiot savant, but it went to a savant. So it's someone who might not even be able to tie their shoes, but they can play a Beethoven sonnet or whatever, like hearing it once, and they can play that, or they can draw. They see something and draw something with such intricacy, but they don't know how to, make dinner for themselves, so those are kind of stereotypical examples, but those things are very true, and it's just a way of thinking, to put it simply. Individuals on the spectrum, they have a different way of processing information, of thinking about information, and it can lend to some kind of genius level situation. Absolutely.
Right. Clayton?
Wow.
Oh yes, greetings, sister, and thank you for all that information. And I commend you for the work that you do, and I also commend all the teachers and educators out there, because that's a big task. What I want to ask, but you guys have already answered. I was thinking on that same level, could this be something that they don't know how to label it? Because society always want to put a label on something. And you guys spoke on the fact that these people may be so intelligent that they don't know how to put them in a category. So call it autistic. Because back in the day when we were growing up, we didn't hear about autism as much.
Not at all.
And then all the other hyperactive attitudes that children portrayed, it was like, okay, I'm bored. I just don't want to be here.
It's incredible.
So I said that to say this. I believe it's one of those things that these are children or adults that's so intelligent that we don't know what to say to them, or how to treat them, or how to interact with them sometimes if we're not professionals.
Right.
So that's why I say I commend you, sister, for what you do. You're bringing out the best of these young people and adults. So I wouldn't know how to act sometimes. So I guess we all need a little bit of training, right? So thank
I
you.
mean,
I tell you, I find this, Robert, I find this comment, and then we won't go to Latoya, and then back to Clayton. And Mark has been trying to get in and out, And I, on behalf of Brother Ahmad, he's been trying to get in. Then he said Facebook locked him out for 24 hours. Uh, Ahmad, what did you do? I don't know.
Is he able to get in through YouTube? That's another
You know what?
another avenue.
I tell you what. Hey, do me a favor, Robert, if you will, see if you can reach out to him and see if he can do that, because it does give him that option, YouTube or Facebook, if you will. Okay. Or anyone else has contact there. So what I find so fascinating about this, and it's actually mind blowing if you think about it, you have people on this planet that have so much intelligence. I mean, just it's just absolutely incredible. You know, like math geniuses, geniuses. Okay, uh, or like you said, these people may not know how to cook a meal or tie their shoe, but they can play Beethoven Fifth Symphony.
That's awesome.
That is, or they might be able to draw something. I mean, just incredible art,
Yes.
folks. And people tend to look down on. And I want to know from you, Sister Tamika, your knowledge about this. And people seem to look down. Oh, there he is, right there, Ahmad.
God bless. That's all I can say.
Oh, you're here. Oh my
God bless.
goodness. Oh, this is a hey, this is the best. And we've got one. We've got. I understand. I just found out. You didn't even tell me, brother Ahmad, that sister. You know, Sister Tamika.
Oh
You
yeah,
didn't tell me that.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't tell you. Yeah, that's one of my closest friends.
You got to stop, Ahmad.
That's
You have
amazing.
to stop keeping secrets. You have to stop keeping secrets. And we're having a fascinating conversation. And Brother Hicks, he's got to come back in too. And we're talking about autism, and we're talking about the genius of some of these people. And what I'm saying is that some people look down on them, and these are actually people that needs to be celebrated. And through and I don't know what it does to them when they are put down, because they're on a genius level that I know I'm not on, and I don't know how other people on this panel
Well,
might
you
be.
know, brother, I have to say this. They
What's
are
that?
God's given gift to us as well. Just as God had created us, He created all of them. They just have a different way of expressing themselves.
You
But
know,
they have a whole lot to give to us. They are just as valuable.
absolutely,
So
and so they should be
praise God for
celebrated.
all that. Yes, that's right.
You know, I'm gonna tell you a little personal story. I grew up. As a matter of fact, we grew up in a neighborhood, and there was a gentleman named Alfred. And Alfred would go out and he would do some of the craziest things out in the street. He never hurt anybody, but he was just strange.
Mhm.
He would wear an overcoat and it's 90 degrees outside, you know, and a car would pass by and he would curse him out. And so, but my mom was saying, said, one thing you don't know about him, he was an absolute genius in school.
It
Mhm.
made sense if you thought
He
about
was
it.
a genius in school. Going forward, he had a great nephew or nephew that was in the Boy Scouts with me that was like a student, and I never saw him took home a book.
Mhm.
Okay, he got scholarships from all around the country,
Mhm.
and dropped out of school. And I said, "What happened to him?" They said he got bored with school, and he's just crazy now. And so this is something, folks, ladies and gentlemen, something that needs to be talked about. I'm glad we're talking about it. Uh, Now, let's introduce to this. Oh, Mark Daniels.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Man, I find this a fascinating conversation. Before we bring on our other guest, and I don't even want to call him a guest. I really don't. He's our national president, Mr.
International.
International.
Oh,
I stand to be
you
corrected.
better catch up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. If I'm wrong, I want to be right. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, Mark. Hey,
Yes,
bro,
sir.
I want you to chime in and I'm going to let you do the honors of introducing our international president.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, it's an honor to have our international president, who I've had the privilege of meeting on several occasions, Mr. Ahmad McDougall, a phenomenal man. Every
Yes.
time I've been able to, speak with him, and it's been the last two conclaves. He's always taken the time to speak to me. I mean, I love him. He's a phenomenal man, and for me, it's an honor to even be on this platform, and he's a part of this. So thank you for being on here with us, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. That
Let
was
me,
a great
let me piggyback on that. Uh, to my esteemed international president, brother, every time I talk to you, you always have something encouraging to say. Without a shadow of a doubt, I know I'm going to have a good conversation. And that's important. When a brother reaches out, he should uplift one another. When a brother talk to another sister, always encourage that woman and lift her up as well. But brother, I have to give you your, as we used to say, flowers while you're living. Brother, you're on point.
Appreciate
And
that.
I've told you that personally. And sitting beside me is my oldest brother and groove brother, Brother William Brown. So as we go forth with our obligations, you have told us always reach out to your brother, give them a call, see how they are doing.
Mhm.
That's important. And I'm going to carry that one with me because that's the kind of guy I want to be as well, and that I am.
Amen.
Be responsible for your brothers and your sisters. And I appreciate what you're doing with the administration, brother,
Thank
because
you.
we have gone a long way. Groove is on the map. We can go anywhere we want to go with our head held high.
Mhm.
And our sisters are right there beside us. I have to give kudos to the sisters of Swing Fire Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated, who I dearly love. Because the fact is, we are incorporating with the sisters here to do community service. I'm going to go ahead and do a plug on this because the fact
Go
is,
ahead.
uh, I was with the sisters yesterday at Virginia State University. Uh, Let me pull up some names. I want to give those sisters some shout outs while I can. Excuse me for just 1 minute.
That's okay. You
I
can,
wa- as we went down to Virginia State, we took an abundance of groceries, food items, personal hygiene items for men and women, uh, just abundance of food. I collaborated with Richmond Graduate Chapter, some of the brothers from Virginia Union, Panther One Chapter, the sisters of Swing Five Swing, Richmond Graduate Chapter, and some I believe came up from Raleigh grad, but uh, Major Letitia Bland,
Mhm. Mhm.
Sister Claudia Davis, Sister Marcella Austin, Sister Geraldine Atkins, Sister Shadora Jones. And I want to say thank you because they included us and we was right there by their side. And it was a beautiful thing. And that's the reason why I'm taking my time talking about this. Because the sisters and the brothers of Groove Five Groove Social Fellowship Incorporated and Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated are doing some great things and it should be known.
absolutely. And we want to carry this around the globe, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Brother Omar, uh, our past president, Brother Dennis Thomas,
Mhm.
I love him too, right? He joined me about 6, 7 years ago, I believe, if not longer, on a program we did called Groove Talk Radio back in, we were in California at that time. And we moved the operation here. And I had the chance of speaking to someone who I've never met in person, but I've grown to love, and that's my sister Rock. And she recognized me. I had a write up in an article in the Southern Soul magazine. I was wearing my groove gear, and the sisters of the Raleigh grad, they shared my that article, and we reached out, and I said, Sister Rock, I want to bring back Groove Talk Radio, but I want to do it a little bit differently this time. I want to make this global. I want to share this around the United States and abroad. And but this time it's going to be uh, a joint effort between grooves and swings. Okay, come together as one because all of us are doing great things around the globe. And I just want you guys to know, grooves and swings. Listen to me. You have a platform here, right here on this network, and I wanted to make sure that we had a voice. Ahmad, without further ado, I want you to tell us a little bit about what you do, okay, with the Groove organization, okay, your vision there, the conclave coming up, and also your other life. What do you do there? Because I want to get into that also.
Okay, most definitely. And thank you for the introduction, and I appreciate you, brothers, showing your appreciation for what we're trying to do. As you know, as I always say, we're doing this together. It's not me by myself; it's all of us. It doesn't work without all of us. Before we go forward, I do want to go back to that conversation about autism. Did you guys, anybody mention some of the famous people that are found to be on the spectrum? No,
Repeat that.
I don't think we did.
so really quickly before we jump in. So Dan Aykroyd, remember from Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Elon Musk, Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, Andy Warhol. That's just some of the people that were on the autism spectrum. Andy Warhol. Yes. That's just
Amazing.
So when you guys were talking about how they are special people, right? And we're not talking about special in a funny way. They are special individuals. I found that to be true. I worked with autistic people over time in my career as well, and I found them to be very insightful, right? They may not have the social skills that we're all used to, but when it comes to academia, when it comes to science, art, math, things of that nature, they excel, right? And you find a guy like Bill Gates in a huge house the size of a state all by himself, but he's still in that big house. so it's just real important to think about the people in the right light, the same light that you portrayed them in. So with Groove, so my vision for Groove is for us to continuously improve and continuously live in the light that the founders have created for us. So what does that consist of? It consists of leadership development, it consists of mentorship, it consists of creating academic excellence and opportunities for individuals to get involved in the academic realm, making sure that kids and people in marginalized communities have a way to get to education, whether it be college, because we're a collegiate-based organization, but just whether it be technical school, or whether it be any education that allows them to push their lives forward. We want to empower. We want to make sure that we're not only creating opportunities for people in marginalized communities, our people, but giving them the opportunity to in turn create opportunities for others. So all of these things are very important to us. And then we're also a global organization, we're international. And it's not because of me, it's because of us, because we exist in other places. And so one of our major initiatives is Good, which, quite frankly, some years ago, in working with Chrissy Coles, we were trying to collaborate on some of our community service projects, right? And so Good, Global Outreach Opportunities Throughout the Diaspora, that is a program that Swing had in place. But when I became president, I said, we're going to go ahead and move forward and make it part of what we do, so that when we do the work, we can do it together. We can be more impactful, right? So for us, we have Good STEM, right? Everybody knows what STEM means. So through Good STEM, we build computer labs throughout the diaspora. So we built labs in Ghana, in Grenada. We're going to Costa Rica and dealing with the African population in those areas. Right now, we have 25 labs built in 3 years, serving over 20,000 kids annually. Not once, but annually. So those school labs are built and they're going to be there. Before we got there, in partnership with Crispin Booker, our international vice president, in his organization, because Veronica's Way is his organization, and we decided to partner with him because he's a computer guy, and this is what his grandmother imparted on him, right? And that's why it's called Veronica's Way. That's his grandmother that imparted him on. So through him, we've been able to go to places where prior to us being there, they would have, we got pictures, they would have a desk and they'd have keys drawn in chalk. And they were practicing typing on a board with chalk, laying out the keys.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we brought the computers, the whole village was crying. In 10 different villages, right? And you see the pictures, you see thousands of people there. Those are the parents and some of the kids that we've served. So that's one of our major initiatives internationally. And now that we've done it, and his company is growing and our engagement is growing, we're going to start building computer labs here, as well as in other places throughout the world. With more donations, more assistance, it allows us to grow our efforts. Then we have good water. We're trying to build water boreholes in communities. You build one water borehole, and it can serve between 3,500 to 6,000 people. So that's good water. Then we have good shoes. There are these shoes. These they're almost like flip-flops, right? Or like Crocs, as we will call them. So where you can adjust the top, and they, rather than being one size, they stretch 5 sizes. So as the child grows older, his shoes will grow with it, right? So you won't have to buy a pair of shoes every year. It'd be several years. And those shoes use nanotechnology. So they're not going anywhere. They're going to last for a long period of time. Anybody who knows about nanotechnology is stronger than anything that we have on Earth because they bind at a molecular level, right? So again, we're trying to be smart, trying to be impactful, and we're trying to be engaging. We don't want to get things that people don't need. We want to get things that people need. In the United States, some of our bigger initiatives are Groove 5 Feeds, which we seek to feed a minimum of 100 to 150,000 families every year. And so as it stands, we've done that for the last 3 years through our donations and partnership with Feeding America, and also through Groove 5 Feeds at a local level. We're encouraging a lot of our chapter members to go out and feed individuals in their local community. In some cases, they have partnered with nonprofit entities and created a mobile food pantry. For instance, my chapter, through our president, Dennis Garcia, he created a partnership with this organization called United Community Corporation in Newark. And we've been running a mobile food pantry for the last 3 years, feeding at least 700 to 800 people every month in a one-time shot. Now, that's some hard work.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows if you went to the food bank and you packed a bunch of stuff, it's hard work. So imagine that without the food bank, where you just take a whole bunch of stuff out of a truck, a big truck, unload it, repackage it in grocery bags, and then put it back, and then go to the neighborhoods and hand it directly out.
That's
so,
right.
And so that globally, we're all coalescing under that initiative. We're all supporting that initiative, and that's how we go to feed between 100 to or 150 to 200,000 people every year. So that's another one of our things. Our Groove Leadership Academy, very important. We're changing lives. We're giving young men an opportunity to learn from people who have been in the places that they wish to go. We're spending our time. We're buying coats, making sure the kids have coats for the winter. We're taking them on college tours. We're paying for the college applications to get into school. We're referring them over to the Groove Fund, who is our partner, our 501c3 arm, headed by past President Victor Henderson, and they're getting scholarships from them. And then they have a matching program for which we as a chapter, we can raise a certain amount of money and then go to the Groove Fund and say, can you match us? And so there's several different ways to which kids can get scholarships, get educational opportunities, which is what we're here for, right?
Yes,
and also in the realm of engaging communities, we've encouraged brothers to engage that block association, to engage that city council meeting, to engage those nonprofit organizations. Be a part of the leadership in your community, right? Be a part of the individuals that are allocating resources towards solving some of those systemic and age-old problems in our communities. Whether you still live there or not, get involved in that place where you grew up at and bring the knowledge base. Be a subject matter expert. Bring that knowledge to that group and be able to bring those special skills to the table so everybody can benefit from them. So that's just kind of like a small look at some of the things that we're doing. On another side, when we talk about going to Miami, we have a 10-point plan because we're not going to just party, we're going to serve. and we're going to have a good time. But Groove always serves first. We're a community service first organization. So out of the 10 points, 3 of the most salient is we're building I say building digitally, right? Infrastructure. We're going to have a digital Black History Library. We hope to start it off with at least 500 books. We're starting with the 200 some odd books that were banned by the Florida legislature. So kids will be able to, of any age, will be able to go to their phone, log in, and have access to 500 or so books just to start, right? Over time, we want to build that library to over 10,000 books because it's not going to go away, just like the digital landscape will never go away as well. So we're building this library to provide another resource to schools, right? We have a partnership with the Common Black College application. So this is an application to which you can spend $20 for your child to apply, and that application will go out to 60 different HBCUs, right? So when I saw that, and again, the sister put me onto it because I was not aware. I did not know. Sister put me onto it. As soon as I saw it, I contacted the gentleman, set up a meeting with him and my vice president, and we got a partnership. And so what we're doing in Florida is that we're going to pay for 250 kids applications for college, and a Black college application.
Wow, that's fantastic.
They will match us. So in essence, we'll be serving 500 kids free application to college. Then last but not least, we're going to have scholarships directly for kids in marginalized communities in the areas directly adjacent and containing Miami-Dade County. And so that's just 3 of the things that we're going to do. And I don't want to go over everything because you guys are grooves. We got way too many things we're sending you on emails and way too many initiatives to jump into in this conversation. But those are some of the salient points, some of the things that we wanted to highlight.
Fantastic. Brother, I tell you, that's a lot. That is a lot to take in because the fact is, like I tell everybody, Groove is doing exactly what our communities and local, statewide, even federal, we are in the mix. That people better recognize between the grooves and the swings, we're gonna make a difference because we have to follow that blueprint. And we are establishing a new blueprint to the fact that we are community and service-based people. We got to take care of the communities first. And I appreciate what you're doing to our president because he is not swayed away from that. Him and his administration is right on point and they're focused. And we are on the local level doing the same things because I am the president of Virginia State University Virtual Alumni Grad Chapter. So we are following that lead. We have brought in community service. We have some coming up outside the regional meeting that's going to be next Saturday, the 13th. We also have the Hope Center, which we will be there on the 18th of April. And then we do our street cleanup, which we have adopted the street, South Street, going from the bottom of the hill of Virginia State University out to Lee Street. That mile-long stretch belongs to Groove by Groove. We have our signs up. So no matter where we are making an impact. I have been working alongside the sisters. As a matter of fact, Ahmad, before you came on, Mr. President, I was talking about collaborating with the sisters yesterday, where we had given an abundance of food and personal hygiene items to Virginia State University's pantry. We filled that pantry up. And we took several pictures between the sisters. It was black and white. So they know that we are about our business. But on top of that, we will be working on the 23rd of April as well. That's the Wellness Day. I will be working with Geraldine Atkins, and we're going to set up booths and try to give them information on, mental health items and those type of products. So, along with our sisters, our beautiful sisters, we are going to do this thing, and I appreciate your leadership. Also, to Brother Hicks, I have to give you your props as well. When the information is there, you get it out, and that's crucial We got to keep communicating with one another, sharing information. What good is it to keep it to yourself? So I appreciate this platform, my brother. Ahmad, did you know this was my oldest brother as well?
No, but I was guessing because I saw the last names.
Yeah, I have to keep him. I have to keep him.
He have to.
So,
He has no choice. He has no choice.
so with that said,
you, you know, I tell you what. Thank you so much, man. This is so heavy. And Amar, I was listening. I turned off my camera. I had to check. I always do a sound check, make sure we're sounding. What we're a broadcaster, I want to make sure that our audience is hearing the same thing, loud and clear, great information. And you have so much information, so many things to talk about, brother. This cannot. You have to come back soon, real soon, because a lot of times people need to hear things over before they can adapt to it. And there's so much information there that I says, "Wow, unbelievable." So you're doing some things that I had no idea. I've been in a groove for, oh my God, 5 decades. Okay, I pledged when I was 10. Okay. Okay, all right. Anyway, that's a lot. But anyway, we've got to do this. Another one of our panelists, and I haven't heard much from her at all, and that's Tiffany Hilliard. Swing.
hi Tiffany.
Tiffany, come on. It's time. Say whatever you want to say. Ask whatever you want to ask. She's one of our regular panelists, along with Brother Robert Hicks. I love this brother so much. Brother Mark Daniels and Robert Hicks. He listens to everything that we do. We're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he listens to our music programs and our talk shows and things of that nature. And I want you guys to know right now, before it slips my mind, we just set up a brand new YouTube channel, and we activated today just for this program right here, Groove Swing Speaks, and I have some other talk shows that are very, very important. But we just set up a brand new YouTube channel, and just go to Studio W. It's either The Buzz or Studio W Buzz, one of those two. Studio W The Buzz or Studio W Buzz. There's a brand new YouTube channel. And I set this up for a couple of reasons. I wanted to be able to have, to exercise all of the major platforms, but not only that, and perhaps we can use this as a tool for fundraising as well. So, Ahmad, I want to talk to you a little bit more about that. Robert Hicks, we got to talk about it. Clayton and Tamika. Where is where is she? Miss Fancy, where is she? Okay, that's my original co-host, and that is Latoya Yvette. And so I'm sure she may be having some technical problems, but we'll talk more about that. And Ahmad, man, I'm blown away. I'm really blown away, and that's why a platform like this is so important, because we may be able to do things in our own little pockets, but can you imagine if we bring this whole nation together with grooves and swings around the globe? I mean, come on, man. Their power in numbers, I know it is. Tiffany, come on, darling. We got to hear from you.
Well, hello, my brothers, and hola, my sisters.
Hello, Tiffany.
I just wanted to say hello. Please forgive me for my tardiness. I had some stuff I had to take care of. So I don't know all of what was covered, but I did just want to come in and speak. It's been a minute since I seen you two. Probably a few years. I think the last time I saw you, I was back in Baltimore. So I just want to come on and say hello. But yeah, that's it. I'm just listening. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, we would talk about several different things, because we opened the broadcast up with Sister Tiffany and the work that she's doing. So let me just share with this, and Robert, I want you to come on and kind of chime in on after I speak here, and that is, what is the objective when you're doing anything? It has to be a who, what, where, when, why, and how. Why are we doing this? And number one, I love this organization, and I love the direction that many of our brothers and sisters are doing in so many different chapters. So I thought it'd be a great idea if we share our experience, north, south, east, and west. and come together, and perhaps we'll have some ideas that may inspire, educate, and also we talk about opportunities. There may be something that you know and I don't know, and then I may be inspired to go in a different direction. I might be inspired to start my own business. I might be inspired to join this and that or the other, but the value of it and the information that we are learning. Sister Tamika, when you first came on, well, you know, I just found out something, and I had, and Brother Marvin keeping secrets, and you told me that you guys went to Grambling together.
Mhm.
Am I correct about that? And you're really great friends. And I think that you did you attend his wedding?
Yes, I was in his wedding. I was one of the bridesmaids.
Okay, well, see, I'm also an investigative reporter here. So I want you to talk about anything because again, the field that you are in, and Brother Martin, I'm so glad you addressed that, and that is autism and the important work that Sister Tamika is doing. And I want to just tie this all together. And Brother McDougall, I stepped out for a while, but also we want to talk about your other profession
Mhm.
that you're doing. I want to get back to that. But Sister Tamika, I want you to share with the audience anything that you would like based on our discussion.
Well, how about this? Sister Latoya did ask me a question before, and I wasn't able to answer it. But she asked me what led me to do what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and it's twofold. The first would be my mother. She was in the helping field. She was a social worker. Um, Her whole life has been about service. She actually just received an award from the AME Church, a lifetime missionary award for her work with the AME Church. So I've saw that her life was about service, and anything my mom wanted to do. Obviously that was my first role model. That was who I looked up to the most, and I wanted to be just like her. So anything she did, I wanted to do. And she, showed me the importance of a life of service, and specifically why I wanted to work with individuals with special needs was because when I was in the third grade, we lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was in what they called oh God, what is it? It's called something else now, but gifted and talented, a gifted and talented program, and that was still considered special education. So we rode the small bus, with other individuals who may have had educational challenges or I guess the traditional special needs or that type of special education. So um, I had to learn sign language, and we were paired with individuals that needed help getting to their class. And it really just um, I knew from then that I wanted to be a voice for people who didn't have a voice or who couldn't advocate for themselves. So that's kind of what led me to do what I do. So
Okay. Oh, yeah. I want to go to Brother Mark right now. Brother Mark, I had muted your mic because you were getting a little feedback. Okay, that's better now. Brother Mark, I want you to chime in, say whatever you want to say because I think this conversation that we're having tonight is absolutely fascinating. And this is this number seven, Clayton, or is this number seven? I'm not sure how many broadcasts we had before this, but I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of my
I think
sister
it might be
Latoya.
number 8,
Number
to be
eight.
honest. Yes.
Wow. And we're great. We're gaining traction. And Brother McDougall, oh, Crispin Booker, he chimed in too. He's a great rook press. And so I'm extending this because this is, we're grooves and swings here. And I want the national and international, on the international level, that we're here. This is a platform that you can put out whatever information you want as far as what our organizations are doing. Okay. And you have so far also, you supported us, you approved us to be able to post when we do Groove Swing Speaks, you approve that each and every week. But I want you to know that you have a voice right here on this network. Okay. I'm passionate about this. We are serious about this. And again, I can't thank uh, brother, sister Rock because, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times the people behind the scenes they don't get the credit that's due to them, and I'm telling you, she is a major, major, major part of what we're doing, and I'm sure, like Sister Latoya would agree. I'm sure she will. Okay, hey, Mark, hey brother,
Yes, sir.
what's your take, brother?
Well, when it comes to the subject of autism, that's very close to me because I have two young people in my life that are autistic. I have my goddaughter who's now going on 6, and my I could say grandson. He's going on 3. Is very close to my family, and it's amazing because my goddaughter is. I mean, she's the world to me, and she's such a creative little girl, and you realistically would not know this, except there are some patterns that I guess go along with having autism. But I'm very supportive of it. I'm very much into wanting to help with that. And on the other part of it, I think that more people need to get involved and understand because you have some very, very, very talented people who also have this, and it's okay. And I think that's what people have to realize. It's okay because you know what? There's tools to help uh, people that have this. And in our society, for the longest, I feel that if anybody had anything, people used to look down at them and would put them in a different category. And that can't be the case anymore. Because I know at least with my goddaughter, she's one of the most creative little beings I've ever come across. And it's just great that we have a voice here on this platform to be able to speak about it. And I'm just honored to be on here tonight with everybody.
Well, we're absolutely glad. All as usual, Mark is um, always here. He's a part. He's a panelist as well as brother Robert Hicks, my brother Clayton Brown, Craig. He's not with us tonight. He has
The
another
game
meeting.
changer.
Yeah, you guys know Craig.
Craig Huff.
Craig Hunter. I know a lot of you guys know him, and he has another meeting tonight, and it has to do with recruiting. And I want to say this as well. Use this platform that we're doing here, and when you're going out and you're recruiting, this might be a good idea to share this with a younger person that might be considering maybe joining an organization, especially one like this. To let them know that there is groove and swing on the move. I'm telling you right now, I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be more proud of being with this organization. Now, Clayton, did you say? Oh, I want to get to something else right now, and we'll come back. And I've been trying to tie these two together all day. I love to link our conversations around the guests that we bring forth. And Ahmad is also Ahmad. No one can tell your story better than you can. You're also uh, a divisional or the divisional director for the Department of Labor in New Jersey. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that. And I'm going to do something else. Robert Hicks, a few weeks ago, he said, William, we need to talk about DEI.
Mhm.
You guys already know. Okay. um, I was talking to us about what do you do with the Department of Labor? Is that something that, how does DEI come into play there? And are you in communications with the federal uh, entity? Is there a communication? Just tell us a little bit about that and what you do.
Got it. So to start, so I am the division director or state administrator for the Division of Disability Determination Services within the New Jersey Department of Labor. So I manage 4 regional offices comprised of 400 employees. We receive applications from Social Security Administration, whether it be Title II or 16, being SSI or SSDI. And we contact the applicant. We set them with doctor's appointments so they can have what's called a consultative exam to determine the level or limits of their disability. And then we have our in-house doctors review the application for the information and the consultative exam, and then make a determination whether they should receive disability benefits or not. So we're basically helping people who are disabled get disability benefits, but we have to go through a stringent process delineated by SSA, Social Security Administration. And so in the realm of DEI, diversity and inclusion, so my department, our governor's liberal, right? So they've been pushing a lot of these initiatives through our department. Personally, it's not hard for me to institute it because I'm already diverse. I'm a Black man who leads the whole division. So I give everybody an equitable shot at promotions, equitable shot at performance. Everybody gets an opportunity to shine and to improve and to climb the ladder. My personal feelings on DEI is, and this is just me, I know it's a need, but for me, I want it to be more focused on equitable opportunities, right? It's all good to talk about it, right? It's good to train people on it. But if we're being frank, all of us here are grown. We've already grown used to working in these tough environments. That training is not going to change that. What will change that is being diverse in your leadership, having different people, women, people of color in leadership. That's going to force that change, right? That's the only way to force the change, because you can have 1 million trainings and 100,000 conversations, but if the leadership still looks like African Americans or women represent 3 or 5%, it's never going to work. It's never going to help, right? People are just going to do it just to say they've done it. But that's my personal look on it, right? I do like some of the programs that they are having through my department. And quite frankly, we do have a number of women and people of color in leadership now. This is all due to the governor, realistically, right? Prior to this, I'm the 3rd Black person that's ever had this job in over 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and that's this job. The job before it, I was the 2nd. The job before that, I was the 1st. These are all assistant director, and now director. So that's a problem, right? That's a problem. I shouldn't be the 1st. There's plenty of other people that were qualified before me that look like me, but they didn't get opportunity. There's plenty of women that were qualified before me, but they didn't get the opportunity. So the key for me with DI is give people an opportunity to lead. Give people opportunity to compete. Because realistically, that's all we want. We want an opportunity to compete.
That is true.
That is so true. And Robert, please chime in, because I can see how important it is to not only have a DEI programs, but to implement them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brother Amar said, he shouldn't have to be the first after how many years? We talking 5 decades or so?
Yeah.
Come on,
5
man.
decades or more. The first job, it was 7 decades.
Come on.
Yes, exactly. Because a lot of programs that pretty much we are very qualified, and I must say, definitely, President Ahmad is definitely in astute. He's very smart. He's very wise in his work, and I would say very qualified. And I thank you for your leadership, sir, first and foremost. But to his point, and to many of our points, who all of us have been in the various different industries, we should not always hear that we are the first of anything at this point. We should have been already the first. What we had to do is knock down doors. But by doing that, we also are bringing in the people behind us, those of us who are coming into the industry to say, hey, we broke down the door. Now here's your opportunity to come in behind us and do what you need to do. But that is part of diversity, because of the sense of if you have been living under a rock, if you haven't seen specifically, well, our country is really diverse right about now. We have people from all different walks of life. We have people from all different races, creeds, colors, and thoughts and innovations. But also at the same time, we just want basically equal footing. We just basically want to be able to be treated in the same manner. We want to be able to have the same level and not be knocked down a certain number of steps.
Yes.
But also, we just want to be able to be included in everything that's happening. Because if we're separated, then you really don't really have, and to the people out there, you really don't have what we are looking for in regards to the way things are moving, have to be able to move forward in this country. To be inclusive is being able to bring in all thoughts, all ways of life, to be able to make sure that we have everybody accounted for. Who do we do it for? The people. And that's just like the song from Common. But also, you have to realize the communities that you're living in. Who are the people around there?
Mhm.
If you've seen them recently, it's pretty diverse, especially in a few cities that you live in. So I would say it's important to make sure that we are representative of the demographics of the people in that area. And as Clayton and I like to say, that's our $19.62. Thank
Well,
you.
we appreciate both of your input on that. I would like to ask or direct this towards Sister Tamika, because earlier you and Ahmad was talking about people not only having special needs, but they are highly intellectual or have these gifts that nobody else know nothing about. Because I am a brother of, I guess I'm a spiritual brother, but I'm also an artist. I'm a portrait artist. I'm a creator. So some people may have looked at me differently as I was growing up as well, because I didn't do things the way other people did. But tying into what Brother Amar was talking about, being diverse, I'm pretty sure, Sister Tamika, you had to deal with that on another level, having to try to coach uh, artistic artistic children to be accepted, to be inclusive, to feel like they are needed just as much as anybody else. Because could you tell us a little bit about how they express that to you as a professional?
Well, I would say that they're the individuals that I've had the pleasure of working with and throughout my career, they're not particularly aware that people may think that they're different, or that they may, or I don't even like to say different, but that it's not, they may not do things by the social norm. I think that it's important, especially in this day and age, that, like you said, we should be more inclusive. You
Yeah.
know, if someone chooses to, because at the end of the day, like what really are, who's to say what's normal?
Yeah,
Who's to say
that's what I'm getting to.
what we should be? Um, so if there's an individual, one of my individuals wants to wear, a red top and something, odd that I may consider as odd, that, hey, that's what you want to do. So I think it's more about the larger group being more inclusive and accepting someone that may do things that are a little different than what you may do, as opposed to having them adjust to everyone else. That's the way that I look at it. And as I said, the individuals that I've had the pleasure of working with, they're not really that concerned or acutely tied into the fact that people may look at them as odd. They just don't recognize that. So there's not a lot of that, like coming to me and saying, hey, I don't think I fit in. What can I do? they don't. And I would love to feel that. I feel like that's a kind of a freedom, if you will, to not really care about what other people think about you. You
Right.
know, and if you fitting in, they're going to be who they are regardless. And I think that's a very special and unique, um, attribute of individuals on the spectrum.
And that is so true because our society is so well known to group people into a category. Because you and Amar was talking about artists. Now, being an artist, I studied that. Now we got Salvador Dali, you know, famous Spanish painter. You have Van Gogh, known for well known for his artwork, but Van Gogh he had that mindset was too intelligent, as some people would say. He ended up cutting his ear off. Okay, you got Salvador Dali, how he painted his pictures. It was almost like he was in a daydream all day long. He would stare at a wall until images start to distort or come to life, and he would. I can see that sometimes because sometimes I'm in a daydream.
Mm.
Reality is not what other people may think their reality is, but we're all out here trying to be accepted. And so,
You know, and I agree with that too, because society, for as long as I can remember, and perhaps as long as the panel can remember, set norms,
right,
a standard of beauty. And when you saw, and then if you see something over and over and over again on TV, for years, you've had beautiful black models that were excluded. They weren't shown. Okay. You had so much genius, especially from our cultures that were it wasn't exposed, right? And let's come down to what it's all about. We're talking about the 5 percenters that control the wealth,
well,
okay? And they can control what you see on media, okay? And what people see, they tend to want to emulate or copy. And like you said, Sister Tamika, I was listening, that let's say for someone wants to put on a red shirt and something else that, good Lord, man, why you walk out on that? But guess what? That's what they wanted to wear. Okay. Uh, I remember seeing on Facebook one time it was Easter, and his brother jumped out all pink. All right, and had a pink Volkswagen. you know, and that brother thought he was clean. And guess what? In his mind, he was. Quick story and true story. I remember being in the 5th grade, and there was a young man that sit next to me, a student, sitting there. His name was Oscar. And Oscar was failing in practically every class. I mean, every subject. However, he had a drawing pad, and this brother could draw anything, and he used pencil. And his creations, Clayton, remind me a lot of yours. You know that he could take a pencil and just make that picture jump off of the page. The tragic part of it is the next year I saw Oscar on the street corner. He had dropped out of school. So, as an educator, Ahmad, Tamika, Robert, Levette, Clayton, and Tiffany, how can our educators be missing, a genius over here, but yet because he's not great in math or history or whatever it is, we have to recognize talent where it is.
I think it's because they was not prepared for it before, but now
Are they prepared
they
now?
I believe so. I think they're training more of the professionals now to be able to understand what it takes to be able to bring those people up, educate them. They know how to, I wouldn't say handle, because that's a bad word to handle somebody, but to guide them into society. At one
Okay.
point in time, I don't believe that the educators was prepared to deal with an autistic child.
Okay, and
They
now
didn't know what it was all about.
well, that's a great point. However, I want to go to Sister Tamika on this. How many of our brilliant autistic children have been ignored or it has not been recognized as such? Because I think if the problem was solved, then Tamika wouldn't be in the business that she's in. Tamika, I want you to address that. You know more about this than I do.
Mhm.
How many
So
are people, the geniuses? I mean, do you think that that what the education system is now, do you think they are on the mark or have they missed the mark or please?
right, I think that if we're talking about your standard education, if which obviously there are individuals on the spectrum that go to school like you or I would. If you think about your school career, like elementary, high school, you may have recalled a very withdrawn, quiet person. They were very smart. They were probably in a lot of, you know, AP classes or advanced types of situations, but they just were kind of awkward or quiet or withdrawn. That person was probably on a spectrum. I don't think that they were probably ignored. They were probably, celebrated for having high test scores and excelling. Where you would probably see not even necessarily ignoring or maybe them not able to tap into that individual's special talents is when there's behavioral issues. And that's unfortunate, because before you can even get to educating, before you can even get to seeing those things, you have to deal with having that person prepared to learn. And if someone is having a tough time sitting still or being able to pay attention, or they're, just having challenges in general in that respect, that's where you'll probably start to see a disregard, especially if they're a child of color. They're immediately going to slap a label and say that they're not able to be taught or anything, and that we can go into a whole other situation with that. But that's typically where you will start to see where educators may start to disregard students that could otherwise be very great students, is if there's a behavioral issue that they can't deal with.
Okay, let me follow up with this. Let's say there is a behavioral issue with that particular child.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those children, going back to something I asked earlier, have been placed on medication versus therapy, or someone taking the time to says, okay, we understand that this is a different person. We need to deal with this differently. I know that so many, and it depends on the system that you're in. Sometimes you have lazy educators or you have lazy therapists or whatever it is. And in the past, we know that they have prescribed drugs instead of therapy for their child and a better understanding of who is this person or who is this child that I'm dealing with. Is that what you think is an issue? Is it prevalent, or is it something that
Mm-hmm.
that could happen?
Yes, right. Absolutely. I mean, there has been, and then, there's also a myriad of other things that we could be talking about, ADHD, all kind of different things that have nothing to do with, autism. But I'm not necessarily against medication. I think that you should do a true assessment and see if you can do any type of environmental changes, if you can, because sometimes there may be a need for some type of medication, like, we spoke about earlier. There's not medication that will treat autism,
Right.
because that's not something that you're going to ever treat in that manner. But there are, the unfortunate things that may come along with that, which is anxiety, which is OCD, those types of things, simply because of the social piece that's missing. But I think that oftentimes, especially children of color, are labeled and given medication without due diligence, without exploring, different learning environments, without exploring, things that could potentially help them, without just
Right.
automatically medicating them. I think that
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think you just answered my question, because then you have someone who is not trained or properly trained or ill trained, whatever it is, and they could judge an autistic person with someone who has that may need that medication.
Mhm.
And I think that's the point that I'm making. And let's go around. Let's go around. Ahmad, what's your take? And anything you want to add, Ahmad? Okay,
Yeah,
your mic is muted.
I always thought the education system needed significant improvement. I would say, so not speaking to autism specifically, but to children that need I think it's called a child risk team or something like that, depending on what state you're in. I feel like there's a lot more special education teachers. I feel like there's a lot more special education teachers that are of color. I mean, just by people that we know, either in our organization or in our communities. So it kind of goes along with the DEI conversation. Is that the teaching force would only benefit to reflect or mirror the people that they're teaching, the people that they serve, right? And so when you take, touching on what Robert was saying, when you have a diverse uh, collective of opinions of people that are all invested in serving that particular population, you're going to get better, stronger, more sustainable solutions. And so I think we're still at the point where we need more of the community, what the community looks like, involved in decision making around education across the board, right? If you think about children that may be on the spectrum that are high performing, and you juxtapose them with children that are having struggles in their home life, right, which relate to behavioral issues as well. What are the schools investing in, right, in order to provide them that extra level of care? Are you providing experiences for them? When you engage a child with an experience, that can have a direct reflection on their behavior. When we dealt with kids, worked with kids through GLA, we took the kids that were on Saturday detention, right? Because that's what the school would allow us to work with. After 2 weekends with us, these kids were no longer on Saturday detention, right? Because we engaged them with activities that they enjoyed and encouraged them to do better. And then you hold the accountability. If you want to do this and then go even further, then you need to act accordingly in class. So then when we tell them we're going to Morgan, we're going to Lincoln, we're doing this and doing that, I want to go, okay, I want you to go. But you need to act accordingly in class. And so it's about bringing the accountability to the table. It's about bringing diverse ideas and bringing the children experiences that will not only encourage them, but will empower them and give them opportunity to grow.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. Let's see. Hey, Mark. Mark is back in, but I want to go to hey, Mark, but I want to go to Brother Robert. Robert, you got your finger on your chin, so there's something going on there, brother.
Thank you, thank you. I'm always contemplating. I'm always thinking, and basically the understanding the situation of what's going on with the educational system, especially with dealing with not just autistic children, but sometimes the children could be just bored and they want a challenge. Schools, in some cases, they're not challenging it hard enough. In which case, then it's important for the schools to probably to elevate to reach the child's mind and even stretch a little bit further, or else the child is going to feel like, oh, why do I have to go to school here? But I will say that also is intuitive of the teacher understanding what is going on with that student. My experience back in 6th grade, and I was in a class and I was doing mathematics and I was just bored. But then a teacher Her name was, I want to say, Mrs. Gish, I want to say, but she introduced me as a sixth grader to an eighth grade math book. And then basically the idea was being able to stretch my mind a little bit more. I did work which was different from the students, but there was something that the students saw in me, that the teacher saw in me, that wanted to be able to do something different. And that should be the same way by understanding the students who are there in the schools, that to be able to say, hey, I see something in you, or you've got something here. And I want you to be able to become your best, be excellent, no matter what people think that your handicap would be. I won't say that, it's probably a bad word, but what your obstacle could be. But people overcome obstacles every single day. And I think the one thing that we have to understand is we've got to be able to support teachers and to sometimes integrate ideas into schools that will bring about the best in their student. And sometimes it could be the idea of just doing something a little bit different, because when it comes down to a classroom, the teacher initially has a certain amount of students. They have about 30 students. They have to get a lecture going. But realizing 30 students, 30 different learning styles. So you have to be able to eventually say, okay, now Robert, come here. Okay, Tiffany, come here, because there's something a little bit different. Maybe you have a different learning style, or maybe you just need something which is going to stretch you to your excellence, to your peak. And that's something that is important, and need people who are really focused within not just the school systems, but also the boards of education, sitting in the meetings and understanding what's going on. These are important when it comes down to making sure that our children and generations thereafter are going to be their best.
You know, that's the sign of a skilled teacher, to realize that you in the classroom, you got 30 people. They're all different in some way. Okay, and you might have some, they might stand out in certain aspects of their learning. And so to be able to say, okay, this person, I might have to teach them a little bit differently, or I might need to pay attention to this particular student's skills and maybe their pace of learning, and how they adjust to these academics. But Tiffany, you have a question.
Yes, I do. It is to our guests, both Tamika and Ahmad. Um, my question is, do you guys think, and I don't know which ones you've been doing the longest, which is educating or being around students or being a part of Swing and Groove, but do you think that being a part, and this is a really elementary question, but sometimes some of the simplest questions do have a can have a compounding effect to it. Do you believe that being a part of Swing and Groove has helped you with working with people who have different
Mm.
challenges or gifts, or vice versa? Working with the people that have different challenges or gifts has helped you work with people that are in Swing and Groove?
Tamika, you would like to go first? Ladies first.
Sure. So, I've been a part of swing longer than I've been in the field. So that, that's that part of the question. I've actually just, well, not just, but in December, I had my 25th anniversary of being a member of this organization. So I've been, but I would say that, um, hmm, I think that being a part of this of Swing Fi Swing has allowed me to explore different parts of myself in terms of being a leader, being following, learning. I think that I think I don't know if it's necessarily helped me in this specific part of my career, but I think just as I said before, just being of service. That's something that since the beginning of being a part of this organization. And what led me to it is, from serving my campus and just being of service, of doing things for my community and trying to the upliftment of my community, and also being an advocate for people who may not necessarily be heard all the time. So that I guess that kind of parlayed into that, but that's something that has always been a part of me. So which it was made what made swing attractive to me, as well as the line of work that I'm in.
Awesome.
Hopefully I answered your question.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Brother Ahmad?
Yeah, so for me, I come from a long line of public service, all aspects of my family, and they all provided their service in their own way. My father was a revolutionary. He worked with the Panthers. He served that way, and my mother also served with the Panthers as well. My grandmother served with nurses, right? She served with nurses in a time period when we couldn't necessarily get good care in hospitals. So the nurses that used to come to your house and serve you in the community. So they had their way. Groove is mine. This is where this is somewhat of a laboratory where I can try out the things that I think may work or help the community. And I also listen to brothers who are similarly interested in the same things and get ideas from them, and try different services, because it's never about one individual personal group, it's about all of us. So while I may want to focus on one thing, another one of my brothers wants to focus on another, and another wants to focus on another. So if I'm being a groove and being true to groove, I'm at all of those services, and I'm learning and being edified by each experience. So for me, being able to lead in that realm, a lot of times you don't get that opportunity, but Groove created an opportunity for me to lead, even down to the point of leading a community service. And you're in a chapter. You say, I want to give haircuts to kids in this community. The chapter president will tell you, well, go figure it out, make it work, and then bring back the information to us. So even that in the micro level, you're still getting opportunity, a laboratory, a place where you can lead and then build up your leadership bona fides and qualifications so you can then go on to lead at a broader scale. So all if not all, most of my leadership skills came from Groove, from listening, learning, and having opportunity. I got a significant amount from my parents and my family as well before I got here, right? But I must attribute a large amount of it to Groove and Swing, because they gave me the opportunity to try, the opportunity to fail, the opportunity to succeed, the opportunity to plan, the opportunity to serve on a grand scale. So I definitely think that, me personally, I definitely go with what Tamika says. This definitely helped me along the way, especially when it comes to service to people. When you look at, and this is the last point I make on this, because this is a thing I always mention, I feel as if Groove is Uber to heaven, right? Now, if you live by what the founders have set up, if you live by the conduct that you're supposed to portray, and then you also serve, just because that's what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be doing more than a lot of people that are not in an organization. If you look at some of our friends who are with the college with us, who we love and appreciate, if they're not part of an organization, 8 times out of 10 they're not serving like we are.
That's
Because this is a tenet to who we are and what we are. So it forces you to serve. It forces you to be impactful and useful to your community.
That's right.
I always think that's an important point. That we're forced to do this because this is what we say we are. This is the organization that we're in. So it's a blessing in both ways. A blessing to the community and a blessing to your own soul to be able to give to others.
I couldn't agree more, and I tell you, and I'm looking at the panel that's here now with you, Sister Tamika, and Brother Ahmad, Brother Robert, Mark, Tiffany. and Latoya, I'm sure she'll be back at some point in time. She'll be having some IT problems there. My brother Clayton, and he mentioned earlier about, and he takes his time out, and he goes out and serve the communities, with the food banks and things of that nature. And we have brothers around the city that does that. And that to me is honorable because a lot of people will not take their time to help and serve someone else,
That's
you
true.
know. And I tell you, and I with the broadcast that we're doing right now, and my objective of doing this is to serve, to bring out information that's going to be helpful to our communities. So I need each and every one of you out there to share this network with your family and your friends. And if you miss part of this broadcast, you will hear it again. Go to Studio W.Buzz, Studio W.Buzz, and click on archive shows, because to me, I'm just a Mark. I am just so grateful to uh, be part of this. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity, or have been given the opportunity to do this. I'm grateful to my sister Rock, because we sit down and we brainstormed a little bit on, okay, how we're going to put together this new Groove Talk Radio, and came up with the title Groove Swing Speaks. I'm grateful to everyone on this panel. You, Tiffany, we're going to come back again and talk about what you do, and we're going to talk about those things right there, because I find everything's fascinating. Mark, we all have a story, and we can contribute a little bit. Can you imagine if the village came together, if the community came together, if grooves and swings came together around the globe? I mean, we talk about a force that uh, can't be reckoned with,
Well,
because we
while we
all
while we're on that subject, excuse me for cutting across,
go ahead.
but I want to give a shout to local brothers, brother Everett Phelps. He is the president of the Richmond Grad Chapter, and also fellowman Craig Hunter, who is the president of Virginia Union Virtual Alumni Graduate Chapter,
Hmm.
Panther One. We collaborate on these things all the time, coming together because we don't have the physical bodies here. So we just join with those brothers so we can get this stuff done. Like I said earlier today, I collaborate with the sisters, Richmond grad sisters, some of the Raleigh grad sisters, and we have a good time.
But I tell you what, this is the whole idea for this platform, is to bring grooves and swings around the globe together with a voice. We can speak in our own communities and we can have some impact. But what I'm saying is that we can have a major global impact if we just spread this around the world. I want Brother Robert, you're shaking your head there, and then I want to bring in Brother Mark after that. Brother Robert.
Yes, absolutely. Because the way that we are able to expand is basically getting the word out to the people. However, way that we reach them is definitely powerful, whether it's word of mouth, whether it is over the airwaves, the radio waves, the digital waves. The idea is we are both progressing.
Mhm,
Groove is progressing. We always say groove is on the move. You
mhm.
can't stop this groove train. And and also uh, for the Sisters of Swing Five Swing Social Fellowship Incorporated, they are so fine, so phenomenal as they are, because they do so much for the communities, and we appreciate you every single day.
Mhm.
The fact
Yes.
is, and also as I mentioned in the chat, that we are definitely, hey, we are brothers and sisters who are either around the corner and around the world. We definitely serve the communities that we live in, we love, and we would have it no other way.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you can. This very broadcast here is an example of that. looked at all of us that have come together here, and we're in different parts of the country, and then Mark is in Houston, Texas, and Tiffany, she's in North Carolina. Ahmad, I think you in New Jersey. Tamika, you in Jersey also, right? And we're in Richmond, Virginia. But we've had brothers and sisters all over the country. Guys, I'm telling you, I feel this in my gut. Okay. My mom used to say something. She said, "My mind does not fool me." And with what we're doing here now, my mind is not fooling me. I know we have something, and we just need to make sure that we keep this train rolling. Mark, what do you have to say, brother?
For me, again, tonight and really the whole program that's been going on now for the last month and a half or so, it's just been phenomenal. Initially, William, when was telling me about this, I said, okay, I've always worked with you, on the sports side of it, but this is a very serious side of my life. And, being able to, how can I put it? Coming into Groove was really, for me, outside of my children, it's been a highlight of my life because, my oldest sister, and I come from a very large family, she went to Morgan State, and I always looked up to her. And when she came home, she was the first person to start telling me about Groove. And as I got older, I was determined that's what I wanted to do. It fit me. It just fit what I was about. And once I was able to become a part of the organization and seeing how the brothers were and the things that they were setting out to do, and then again being able to meet among conclaves, I mean, it's been a highlight for me. And it's just phenomenal because whenever we talk about the organization, people are amazed at the things brothers are doing, the education level the brothers are at, the stamp that we've made on the cities that we all live in. Whether it was in Los Angeles, here in Houston, we're everywhere. And I'm just blessed to be a part of this. And it is something that I know it's going to continue to grow. We got the great leadership. We got the great brothers. We got the great sisters in the swings. And I mean, it's just going to keep going and going. This is beyond what I ever would have imagined. It's just phenomenal for me.
Well, it's a pleasure. And let's see, Brother Mart and Sister Tamika. Oh, Brother Mart. Speaking of, let's talk about. There's also let's switch subjects a little bit. There's a word in the air. There's a conclave coming up.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be in Miami, July 16th through the 21st. We have a number of events that are cultivated for your experience. Your graduate events that will be, how do I say it? There'll be unlimited refreshments, and we will have travel to and from so that you can be safe and comfortable. The event venues are very nice. We have events for our statesmen, our graduate members, our established individuals. Then we have events for our recent graduates and undergraduates. And of course, we have our gala, which is going to be a beautiful event where we can recognize and acknowledge Black excellence in our own fold, in our own organizations. And we have the Youth Empowerment Summit, which always engages the youths. Coincidentally, Tamika and I were the individuals that were organizing the summit for the last 10 years. And so now we've moved on to other roles, and we're glad to see that it's still working. We're still engaging the youth, still providing them with valuable experiences. And the delegates meeting, which is the most important event of the conclave, where anyone who's a member will see that we take a Fortune 500 approach to finding solutions for communities in need. We're doing data analysis. We're doing surveying. We're looking at strategic planning. We're providing updates. We're showing the growth of the organization. So I would encourage anybody to not only attend the Clave, because our convention is going to be a great event, but also attend that delegates meeting. See where your organization really is on the inside rather than the outside.
Absolutely. And again, I want to reiterate, guys, gals, please, if you enjoy this broadcast, please share it with someone, okay? I'm going to speak as slowly as possible. You can even take us with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Please support this channel. Okay, it's black owned, black operators, black funded. Uh, and I've spent my grandchildren's inheritance, but that's okay. It'll come back. I believe. I believe it will pay off. But the point is, go to your Apple App Store and download Studio.w. Studio.w if you have an Apple device. Android is simply Studio W. We're on Apple CarPlay, Google Play, Alexa, and the website is studiow.buzz. We're also on Facebook. We have about 3 channels on Facebook. The fan page is Studio W underscore Buzz. We're on LinkedIn. Also, our brand new YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that. That is Studio W the Buzz, or Studio W Buzz. Hey, Robert, which is it? Is it Studio W Buzz or Studio uh, uh, W the Buzz? I know it's one of those, and it's also on X. Okay, formerly known as what was that used to be? Twitter. And we're
Um,
we're
I
worldwide.
would say it's Studio W Buzz on YouTube.
Studio W Buzz on YouTube. All right, thank you.
Correct.
Thank you, Robert. Studio W Buzz on YouTube. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel and share with someone. Don't keep it a secret, okay? Because each and every week, Brother Amar and Sister Tamika and Tiffany will tell you, Brother Clayton and Robert will tell you as well. We have outstanding guests such as yourself come on each and every week and been predominantly, predominantly grooves and swings because our organizations, we are speaking of diversity. Think of a field, and you have a groove and a swing, if not many, in let's go for medicine, education, or whatever it is. We have part in that, okay? And we have someone that's in that field. So if you have a brother on the West Coast or a sister on the West Coast or Central Time Zones, whatever it is, tell them about this if you are connected with them, and perhaps they can come and share their experiences with us. This is the whole idea. We want to make sure that we educate, we want to inspire, uplift, and I tell you something else. There may be some young person. They don't have to be a grooves or swings. Share with some young person and tell them, say, hey, look, hey, you want to check this out for maybe an hour or so, right? Come in and listen to Groove Swing Speaks. I promise you, you'll always take away something of value with that. And with that, I'm gonna toss it over to my other panelist, Tiffany. Any final thoughts here?
Yes, I do have a couple of questions for the guests. I don't know if you guys already answered this or provided this information early on because I was late coming in. But I do know that Philemon Crispin asked Tamika, what chapter you belong to and what are some of your staple service events?
So I am currently the chapter president for NJ Zuri grad chapter in New Jersey. What I guess our staple, one of our staple events is our Salute to Men program, where we recognize several men in the community. One of them always being a groove that has added any type of value to their community. We've had all type of community leaders. Ahmad was actually among one of our inaugural recipients of that award. And that's something that is definitely near and dear to my heart. I feel that African-American men don't get the credit that's due to them. There's always some type of celebratory thing for women. And obviously we're a women's organization, but I think at the same time, it's our duty to uplift our men because we need one another. So that's one of our events. It's one of our biggest scholarship fundraisers for our chapter, where that's something that we do annually. Let's see. That's one of our biggest ones. We do a lot of community service. We focus. We do a lot of suicide prevention walks, breast cancer walks, those types of things. I'm trying to remember. What else we do? We do a lot of things in schools. We've done things where we've donated books to a women's correctional facility. We have done diaper drives. We've done coat drives. We've done, oh goodness, all kind of things. But that Salute to Men is one of our signature events, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in and time to plan and execute.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sister Tamika, like I said earlier, you do a lot, as well as Brother Ahmad. So we're going to have you come back at some point in time too, because you can't cover all of this information at one time. And Brother Ahmad, I am big on education, and I think that the panel can attest to this. We are huge on that. That's what this is all about: to educate, inspire, and uplift. Also motivate people. That's I talk about this. I'll give you a quick example. I'm a former stockbroker, and I used to go around to middle schools and to high schools, and I've even gone around to education schools, and I used to talk to these young scholars about the stock market, and woe and behold, they didn't know anything about it because it's not taught. Okay. And especially if you talk going to our neighborhoods. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I went into that field. And what I used to do, all of us know about what the Dow Jones 30 is all about. Okay. And I would go in there and I hold a little mini class and I would teach them about the Dow Jones 30. I would teach them about the stock market and what those symbols meant. And I would take 30 $1 gold coins with me. Oh, and you could redeem them, right? You could redeem them. So, and I would test the class, and whoever got the stock symbol right, I would give them a gold dollar.
Hmm.
Hey, brother Crispin. Hey, brother. Okay. Oh boy, McDougal, what chapter are you part of? Crispin, you asking questions? Okay, we'll get into that in a second. Okay. Anyway, so what we would do, I would give them a gold dollar if they got it right, and and what I would do each, and guess what? When I left, I had no gold dollars left. They were attentive. We had fun with it, and to me it was a great experience. Because I had a chance to teach these young scholars something, about a craft or a skill that I had or a vocation that I had, and they were not aware of that. And so we need to do things like that. Go out into the community, and Grooves and Swings are doing that. Like you said, Clayton, go out there and feed them, comfort, but also inspire, educate our communities, folks, because we need to. Harold Reed, okay, he said, loving this Jersey presentation. Harold Reed is there. Oh my God, Ryan Mason. Oh, and Crispin Booker. Oh, by the way, Tamika, Crispin wants to know what chapter are you a member of?
NJ Zuri grad chapter in New Jersey.
New Jersey grad chapter. So,
New Jersey Zuri. Mhm.
right. Okay. Is there any contact information you want to leave about your organization before we go?
Um, swing5swing.org if anyone is looking, and if they're looking to contact me directly, they can email njzurigradchapter at gmail.
Okay. And brother Omar, contact information, any final thoughts, and give us an idea on your experience here.
I want to start off by saying thank you for inviting me. It's always great to have conversations with like-minded individuals, especially brothers and sisters. As a family, I feel like I'm sitting with my uncles and cousins and aunts and so on and so forth. So it's a beautiful thing. I thought the conversation was poignant, to the point, and it addressed topics that are interesting to me, and I think are going to be interesting to your viewers. As far as contact information, groove-5-groove.org, or you can email membership@g5g.org if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you want to be a supporter of any of our national or international um, initiatives. And I saw a question about my particular chapter. I'm part of the Northern Jersey graduate chapter. I was initiated through Grambling State University, Tiger 5 chapter. I'm a charter member of the Northern Jersey graduate chapter, and our regional director is the chapter president. So to the woman that asked how could she be involved, if you contact your regional director in this region, they will know how to get to Dennis, or you can contact any one of us directly.
Absolutely. Hey, brother, I can't thank you enough. Sister Tiffany, any final thoughts? And then I'm going to go to Brother Clayton, and then I'm going to close it out with Brother Robert. Tiffany, any final thoughts?
No, one question for Ahmad that I see a brother had asked: how do you find time to serve while being a father, a director at your job, and the president of the international organization?
That's a great question.
Well, Groove and my father gave me a lot of time management skills throughout that process and the process that comes after the process. So, I mean, frankly, I don't really have time for anything else. If I'm not working, I'm working for Groove. Either one, I'm being a father and being a husband. So I don't really have time to waste. And I've had some of the brothers who have talked to me about business. You kind of know how I am. I'm getting right to the point. And unless the point is us socializing, if we're here to talk business, I want to get right to the point. I don't have a lot of time. If we want to socialize, then we're going to get right to socializing.
Right.
But I don't have time for people that don't want to do what they say they're going to do. I don't have time for people with negative comments with no
That's
critical
right.
aspects, right? I want people to, if you're going to criticize, give me something I can grow from. I
That's
don't have
right.
time for negativity, right? I don't have
That's right.
time for BS.
That's it.
I
That's
literally
it.
don't have time. Like, it's not like I don't have time. No, I don't really have time. So I put all my time into the things that I need to manage in order to live the life that I want to live, and that's supporting Groove, being serve with distinction at my job, and most importantly, being a husband and a father. And
Amen.
that's what I do with my time. That's my hobby is well, I don't have a hobby. My hobby is the things that I do normally for life.
I couldn't agree with you more. And thank you. Like you said, Brother Amar, look, if you got a complaint, bring a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bring a solution. Clayton, we got 30 seconds.
Thank you to our international international president Ahmad, and also I see that our first international vice president Crispin Booker, he was online as well. Greetings, brother, and to our international parliamentarian Iceman Harold Reed. So welcome, brothers. Glad to see you guys on. I appreciate the sisters and the information that was shared. I learned something tonight, and like illustrious president said, go out there, do something, contact your brothers, check on them, do a wellness check, and we're going to be okay. All right.
Hey, we're growing. We're going to grow this thing, and we appreciate everybody. Betty Williams Kirby. Wow, I don't know what chapter you're from. Crispin will be. Is he coming on to see us? I mean,
Well, I'm putting it out there now. Christmas coming on next.
okay. And so, Crispin, you've been designated to come on.
There you go. There you go.
Volunteered. Hey, brother Robert, your final thoughts, brother.
How many minutes? How many seconds?
Okay, you got 32.
32. Okay.
32
Thank you
seconds.
very much, Sister Tamika, for being on here for this evening. Thank you very much, Mr. International President, to being on here. And as we basically say, make sure that you are a factor wherever you are. I'll just leave it at this. There are 210 days until the 2024 presidential election. Your vote is your voice. Use it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to say.
Well, all I have to say is I want to thank each and every one of you for doing this. I get a thrill out, I get pleasure out of doing this, Brother Ahmad and Tamika, Sister Tiffany, Clayton, and Brother Robert. I get an absolute pleasure out of this. anytime we can disseminate information and give good information, solid information, it's always a pleasure. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. And don't, hey, Brother Ahmad, Sister Tamika, okay, don't be strangers. We're going to have you back. Denzel Goodman, thank you. I love this. We've gotten so many great comments on this. And ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to us, please share it with someone. Studio W .buzz, Studio W .buzz. If you missed part of the program, you can go back, hear it again in about 24 hours. Also download one of the apps. Apple is Studio W, Android is Studio W, Google Play, Apple CarPlay, Alexa, and we can be heard anywhere around the globe. Enjoy your evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure